On today's episode, AJ and I are going to recast the 1992 cult classic Buffy the Vampire Slayer. That's right, it was a movie before it was a TV show. This is I Pierce the Toast. I'm Sean.
And I'm AJ. Let's make some toast.
Welcome back to I Pierce the Toast. I fucking hear your sigh. I hear your dismissive sigh.
Let's say it with me.
Okay.
I
pierced.
I
pee on you. I see you.
Close fucking enough.
I was like, this is one of those things where it's spell I cup. AJ, what are we doing today?
Today we're going to be recasting the 1992. Is that right? 1992.
1992, right?
That's the year I was born.
I had to keep checking that too. I was like, God, is this really from 1992? But yeah, that's right, kids. Before Sarah Michelle Gellar iconized. Thank you. Before Sarah Michelle Gellar iconized the role of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Christy Swanson introduced it to us through the original 1992 film. And you're going to recognize some names here. Some of them are pretty far gone. Interestingly enough, as we get into this, the people that are dead from this film are going to be surprising, because there's one guy that definitely should be the dead guy from this film, and he is totally still alive. So I say we jump right in. And AJ, I think we need to do our usual, and we start from kind of some of the smaller roles until we get up to our Christy Swanson, our Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Okay, all right. You start us off. Who are you gonna?
Before we go too far into it, obviously, just in case there's a need for plot point here. Plot point is teenage girl who's very much the archetype of, and I don't even know if this is a thing anymore, the Valley Girl, like, oh my God, like totally freak me out. That type of archetype is suddenly finds herself cast as a slayer and is bestowed with certain abilities and strength that demands of her to protect the world from a vampire overtaking. And so, of course, this is just, the initial journey of her going and defeating the head vampire.
And we should probably state that, you stated in the cold open, but there is a definitive difference between the amazing TV show and comic series that followed Buffy the Vampire Slayer by Joss Whedon. That's a whole different ballgame. That's a lot better in my opinion, but
I didn't mind the movie. Okay, I have to preface that is, as I go back and I rewatch films from my childhood, because obviously in 1992, I wasn't, I was still a kid, but I still remember these films. But looking back on 1992 and going back and rewatching those films, I do sometimes find that it was mostly nostalgia blinding me from realizing how shit some of these movies were. So I could be wrong. This movie could be complete garbage. I have no idea.
I watched it recently. It's pretty garbage. It's not terrible. It's 1992 hokiness to the extreme. But it does have a really great cast, which is what we're going to delve into today.
And let's do that right now. And I say we start with Benny.
Oh, okay. Benny.
So Benny, originally played by David Arquette, who most people will probably remember from the Scream series, because especially now, because he was still cast. I don't think he was in the most recent one, because obviously he's died by this point in the series. What?
You don't want to ruin that for people?
What, the Scream series?
Yeah,
because he died in the one that was like a few years back, so I don't think it matters.
Yeah, I guess that's not really ruining it.
So yeah, I don't think that's ruining anything. But obviously, that's David Arquette, and you may also know that he was married to Courtney Cox at one point, and there was actually a funny thing on Friends where after she got married to him, because she went by Courtney Cox Arquette, and the opening title of the episode after she got married, they put Arquette after everybody's name, so it was like hilarious. David Schwimmer Arquette. It was hilarious. Great. So, AJ, David Arquette, Benny, the best friend who does get bitten, becomes a vampire, right? I think he's like one of the original ones. Who are you putting in this role?
So I'm pretty sure that you probably casted a younger cast than I did, for sure. I mean,
I tried to find some younger, because that was the original. Most of the cast was very young. So if they were a younger person when they were cast, I wanted to kind of stick with that.
The problem that I find, at least with that, is that when you watch the older one, you can tell that these actors and actresses are actually way older than their roles. And so I was like, okay, well, let me capitalize on that.
Were they, though? Because I looked it up.
I think so.
Christy Swanson, I think even David Arquette as well, and Luke Perry were actually all 21 years old. They weren't that old.
I mean, they're still, older than their roles. They were
No,
16, 17
that's what I did.
old.
I didn't do, like, high school age kids.
Yeah.
I don't think I would ever cast anyone high school age. Not that I have anything against young actors. It's just, for something like this, where there's going to be, some overt sexualization, a little bit of horror, I think it demands that we at least allow a kid to be a kid, grow up, and then be 18 before you cast them in this role. There's still plenty of opportunities for kids out there. There's Disney, there's Nickelodeon, and I think that's where, I think it should almost be like, Little League, and then you move into high school, and then you get to go to college, and then pros.
Yeah.
I think it should work the same way in acting. Yeah, there are roles for kids, and sometimes that's just necessary, but I don't think we put enough time, effort, and care into making sure those kids are not super impacted by when they're in those roles, because too many times we watch these kids get completely run over by the industry.
Well, I watch a lot of TikToks and podcasts with a lot of former child actors, like Josh Peck, all of them.
Oh, sure.
And they really come out and say in some of these episodes, children should not be actors, at least in the spotlight that they are, because it does cause so many issues down the line.
So much irreparable damage.
But
absolutely.
We can table that conversation, have that on.
That's actually a good one. We should do that.
We should.
Yeah, hey, we have a podcast. We can talk about that.
But for right now, we're just talking about casting these actors in these roles. And personally, I cast a little bit older than what their role is, but that's okay.
I stuck to the basically I stuck to the decade of. I tried not to go over 25 for the ones who were supposed to play high schoolers, but I didn't go under, I don't think I had any actors under the age of 22. So that's basically 22 to 25 is my sweet spot. So for Benny, who did you go? Who's replacing David Arquette?
You see, the problem is my person is actually like 40 years old.
Jesus fucking Christ. That's way too old.
Wait. Till I tell you who it is.
Okay.
It's almost an eternally young actor. Childish Gambino. Donald Glover. As Benny.
As Benny? Really?
Yeah. When you look at Donald Glover on the screen, even when he was like in Community and everything like that, as soon as he shaves his beard, he looks incredibly young.
He does. He's got a very like eternally youthful look, but I mean, I don't know. I don't think I could put him in this role. It's just
he's hilarious. Benny was hilarious. A goofball in this too.
Benny was a little goof, but honestly, I don't have
sad goof.
I don't have Childish Gambino on here, but if I was gonna cast him in any role here, it definitely would have been Amelin, yeah, because it's like that's the goofball role that I think Childish Gambino would fit better into, not only just by age, but honestly just by personality. But okay, I see where you went here, man. You were really old, Jesus Christ.
He's not that old.
So I had to step outside of my comfort zone a bit here because I don't know a lot of these younger actors. I know some, like we've talked about Jenna Ortega. Obviously, just a huge megastar at this point. You know, she's had several huge projects: Scream, Wednesday, major accolades, kind of just taken the internet by storm. But outside of that, you know, there's not a lot I know about. So I had to kind of dig and go, okay, I actually know this person. So I went with Milo Manheim, and I've actually only seen him in one thing, which was School Spirits. I think it was on Paramount Plus or Peacock.
I have no idea who this is.
But what I liked about this kid is it kind of speaking to that idea of, you know, play your time in the junior leagues and then move up to the majors. He was in Disney's Zombie 1, 2, and 3. So he's done a lot of Disney.
Oh, okay.
And he's been in School Spirits. And what I loved about this idea is zombies, School Spirits, which is about ghosts, and this would be vampires. This is a natural kind of thing for him. But he's a fairly handsome kid. He knows how to be a little goofy, a little fun. And I think he could do this one pretty well, because that's the other thing we need to not roll over with David Arquette. As much as it's easy to forget, he's kind of a handsome dude when he was younger.
That's true.
He was a pretty good-looking cat.
All right, so who do we got next?
Well, let's go to Amelin.
Ooh.
Amelin. And that was played, and I love that we're doing this right now, because that was played by the iconic Paul Reubens, who we did unfortunately just lose recently. So I love that this is kind of plays into both spooky season, since it's, vampires and we're getting close to Halloween, and that we're also going to pay a little homage to Paul Reubens. Now, I don't know about you, AJ, but he was my favorite part of the film.
I liked him. I really did, but when I was younger, I really liked the more serious roles a little bit more.
Oh, okay. All right.
So, I mean, I kind of like the villain in this one a little bit more, but I mean, because he was also kind of goofy too.
Sure. Now, I think the thing, some of our viewers, if you're, mostly, more familiar with more recent work, the thing you're going to remember from Paul Reubens is probably going to be him, in, Gotham. He actually plays Penguin's dad in Gotham, which is funny because he also played Penguin's dad in Batman Returns. So I just think it's so funny that they had him play it in both places, because he also another guy who is very eternally youthful.
Oh yeah.
But for Paul Reubens, since you went first on betting, I'll go first this time. I went with Robert Sheehan.
Who?
Have you seen Umbrella Academy?
Yes.
Okay. The guy that's addicted to heroin.
Oh.
Yeah. I think the first time I saw him was in Misfits. And a line that I will never forget is this girl has the ability to grab men and make them tell the truth. And one of the characters says, and if you're sensitive to these things, you might want to turn away for a second. He said, he goes, I want to piss on your tits. And Robert Sheehan, being the funny guy, he goes, piss on your tits. That's the kind of thing you keep between you and your internet service provider. And he's such a goofball. And I just thought he would be, and he looks good with long hair. And, it doesn't have to be long hair, obviously, but I always kind of thought that Paul Reubens sporting long hair in that film really played well, because it's just kind of this little unkept look, of kind of a greasy, kind of gross looking vampire that thinks that he's like, kind of a sexy vampire, but in reality it's like, ew, why are ew? Just ew. And I think Robert Sheehan plays that pretty well, even if he is a pretty handsome guy.
So now I kind of went on the side of who is someone that is like a decent looking guy, can play really goofy, but can also play like serious, not goofy. And you're going to be kind of surprised by this one. Someone that actually needs a redemption in Hollywood. Someone that puts out some puts out some very good movies and is trying to get back into the limelight. Shia LaBeouf.
Oh, interesting.
Because I think he could add some depth to that character, and he's also really well known for just being a goof. At least he was a goof.
Oh, yeah. So here's me, as a casting director, my response to that would be, I'm willing to give it a chance, but the second he does something fucking crazy on set, he is gone.
I don't know.
I like it. No, I like it. I like it a lot. I think he's a good age for it. And he does. He knows how to be kind of, because that was how Reubens pulled it off. He was stone faced and knew how to be a little, vampiric and scary, but he was also goofy and fun.
Yeah.
He knew how to be both menacing and silly at the same time. And you're right, Shia can pull that off. That's Shia to a T. I mean, hell, and that silly thing they did with actual cannibal.
That's what I was thinking of the entire time. I was like, I think he'd be a good sport about this movie. I think he'd be really good in this.
All right, I like it. So next we have, you can disagree with me on the order I put this in, but I decided to go Pike next, because even though he's
like the lead guy role.
He's a main love interest, but I don't know. I kind of felt like Lothos and Merrick were kind of, at least in terms of played by iconic actors.
And screen time,
screen time, I thought they were a little better. Now, actually, Merrick's screen time isn't that great, but dear God, it's Donald Sutherland. I mean, talk about iconic.
Kraken.
Ah, love that sound.
It's funny because you'll never hear those in my episode. I edit those out.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Why?
Because you usually do it right as we're talking about something serious.
That's because the serious conversations demand Diet Coke. This episode is brought to you by Diet Coke. As is every episode, because that's all we drink in the studio.
It's fuel.
So, next we're going with Pike. Now, Pike is the love interest to Buffy. I can't remember. Is he actually in high school? I don't think he is.
I think he is, isn't he?
Is he?
I thought he was in either way. It's been a minute since, not a minute. It's been recent since I've seen this, but it's been a minute since I actually paid attention to the fucking movie.
Well, it was originally
I had it on in the background.
Originally played by teen heartthrob at the time, Luke Perry.
Yeah.
Who, you may know him from some other projects more recently, but I think his most famous and iconic role is literally the thing that probably landed him in this role, which was playing on 90210.
Yep.
And he was, who was he on 90210? Brandon, and
he was Dylan.
Dylan, thank you. So he was a teen heartthrob. He was obviously, he's a decent actor. I mean, he's not a bad actor by any stretch of the imagination, but he was put in this role because he was a young, attractive guy, and he had a lot of star power at the time. So, AJ, who are you putting in the role of our teen heartthrob here?
See, here's the problem too. Before we move into who I would say, I never really knew who Luke Perry was all that much because I didn't see 90210. But there's one role that I really do know him from. It's a little role too. The Fifth Element. He plays Billy. The guy at the beginning who's like drawing, and whenever
oh god, that it was him. Oh my god, you're absolutely right.
Yeah, when the Mondoshiwans come in and they're like talking to him, and he's like drawing, and
oh my god, that was Luke Perry. Holy shit.
That's all I really.
It's funny too because I think that was probably him trying to step into being more adult roles, because up until that point everybody's like, well, you played a high schooler on TV, we're going to keep putting you as a high schooler. You were in Buffy, we're going to put you in as a high schooler. That was probably him trying to go, please let me play something like at least semi-adult.
No, let's put you in the role where you're like, you kind of have like 2 seconds on the screen, and the dude right before you get on the screen, he's like, Aziz light. Anyway, his role in this movie, I actually cast as someone that's pretty hot in Hollywood right now.
All right, what do you got?
He's got I really don't know how old he is. I think he's probably closer to his 30s, but his name is Timothée Chalamet.
I actually consider Timothée Chalamet. I totally consider Timothée Chalamet. That is a good pick.
Timothée Chalamet just kind of has that look of just being young, but also kind of a heartthrob, and he can kind of play mysterious. I think he would do really, really well in this role. But I mean, he's, like I said, he's a hot ticket right now. He's in Dune. I think he's got some other movies coming out, but Dune is the big one that's like really, really sticking out to me.
I love it. And I think you're going to like my pick. You're not even going to know who he is. You might know. You're probably not going to know. But as soon as I tell you why I picked, I think you're going to love this pick. So I consider Timothée Chalamet because I was like, this guy's hot right now. Yeah. He's a teen heartthrob. He's literally the Luke Perry.
But Hansel is just so hot right now.
Hansel's so hot right now. But like you said, he's a little older. I think he's actually like 26 or 27. And I was trying to go a little younger, and because I wanted to try to cast somebody who's, around that same age that they were, that 21 years of age. Maybe they've had some roles, maybe they haven't, but somebody who deserves an opportunity to step into a slightly bigger role.
Yeah.
Then when I saw this kid, he is younger, but I thought it would be hilarious for him to be in this just based off the fact that this kid seems to be the king of reboots. His name is Tanner Buchanan. Have you seen Cobra Kai?
Yes.
Okay. The kid that plays Johnny's son, like kind of his estranged son, the one that he doesn't have a really good relationship with, that starts studying under LaRusso. Remember that kid? Yeah. Kind of a longer hair. So he's in Cobra Kai, a reboot. He was also in Fuller House, a reboot. He's also in Girl Meets World, a reboot. He's also in He's All That, a remake of She's All That. So it's just, since we're recasting and rebooting this film, I was like, you know what?
Let's get some of the reboots.
Let's this guy knows how to reboot. Let's make it happen.
See, I would have only known him from Designated Survivor.
Yes, he was also in Designated Survivor. That is true. I think he's the son in that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, attractive young man. He may not be Luke Perry, like 1990s Luke Perry level, but I think Cobra Kai has definitely given him some cred. He's done a lot of reboots, and I just thought, you know what? There's a fun irony here in putting him in another reboot. So who do we have next, AJ?
All right, so you want to go Lothos or you want to go Merrick?
Let's go Lothos. I think more people will know the actor that played Merrick than the actor that played Lothos. Okay. Depending on the age of our audience.
Okay. You want to kick us off? I can't remember who did the last one.
So Lothos, I think you started the last one, so I'll do this one. So Lothos was originally played by Rutger Hauer.
Yeah.
And I think most people are going to remember Rutger Hauer from Blade Runner. That was probably his most iconic role. It was a long time ago, and he's definitely done a lot of things. He usually plays kind of a very sinister character. He was very much typecasted as that, which we also see here because the role of Lothos is, of course, the head vampire, the main bad guy. So I found somebody, because I was trying to find somebody that I thought played sinister well, but Rutger Hauer, I never saw Rutger Hauer and thought, there's a sexy dude. I never thought that. So I wanted sexy. I wanted somebody that was a little bit more of a, like, you know, somebody that when that scene happens where he's kind of serenading Buffy and like luring her in, that it didn't seem as creepy as the original, because the original creeped me the fuck out. So I went with Mads Mikkelsen.
I love Mads Mikkelsen.
Who doesn't love Mads Mikkelsen? The man is fantastic. Most people are going to know him from Hannibal, possibly Casino Royale, but he was also in this really cool movie where he was kind of a former like recon badass for like a private agency that was like being hunted down by his own agency. It was pretty cool, but total badass. But he also has the ability to play sinister. He has the ability to be a villain, and I think he can play it well.
Gellert Grindelwald in Fantastic Beasts, so I mean he can definitely play a villain.
I didn't mention that because I don't know what that is.
So he fulfills the role that Johnny Depp vacated whenever all that happened. So he plays. Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay. Thank you. That actually clears that up because I did see the one with Johnny Depp, but I didn't see any others.
Yeah.
So who did you cast for Lothos?
You're gonna fucking hate it. I guarantee it.
That's a fucking way to start.
So I wanted someone that was kind of attractive because that whole scene was a little creepy, like you said.
Oh,
but I wanted someone that had a decent voice, someone that's not old but older, someone that I think could play a really good vampire, but someone that also could bring some people into the screen, someone with some star cred, someone that may have done some musicals, may have played a superhero, may be playing a superhero coming up. He may be the greatest showman alive.
Oh, for fuck's sake! No, you didn't.
I fucking chose Hugh Jackman.
Fucking Hugh Jackman! Are you goddamn kidding me right now? How did you land on Hugh fucking Jackman?
I mean, think about it. I mean, when you look at Lothos and you look at the film, he plays like a suave kind of guy. Yeah, it's goofy and whatnot, but when he's going back and forth with him and Amelin, it's funny. Hugh Jackman could play funny.
Yeah,
he also is getting. I mean, he is getting up there in age.
Yeah, he is. Yeah,
he could play someone that was a suave vampire. He could play someone that was enticing. His role would be more believable as an older vampire.
God, it's. I'm having a hard time picturing it, but it's one of those. If somebody told me that they were rebooting Buffy, and that Hugh Jackman was going to step into the role, I'd be like, I don't see it. But I can't wait to see it try. Like, that's how I feel about it. It's like, I can't picture it, but I'm gonna go fucking see that. But then I would see anything with Hugh Jackman. The man is beautiful. Fucking Hugh Jackman. Jesus Christ. All right, AJ, who do we have next?
I think we have Merrick.
So Merrick is our... if you remember the TV show, he kind of plays the Giles.
Yeah, he's Giles.
You know, but instead of a, you know, well-read British librarian type, he's much more of this kind of old... Oh, how do you even put it?
He's more like Van Helsing.
That's literally what I was going to say. I was literally going to say he's more like an old Van Helsing type character. You know, dusty coat, tattered hat, knows the trade very well from being alive so long that he knows it all. Because he's I think he had lived for several centuries, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is this someone that you think, like, you were like, oh, you're surprised that he's not dead?
Oh God, yeah, that's the one. yeah. So going back through our list real quick, Rutger Hauer has passed. Paul Rubens has passed. Luke Perry has passed, and he was only, I think, in his 50s. But Donald Sutherland, 88 fucking years old, still kicking around, still doing film.
Wait,
I literally just saw him in something. Yeah, Luke Perry. He passed away, what was it, 2019?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Where the fuck have I been?
Yeah, I know. I believe me, I was surprised too. It's hard to hear because he was a young man, well, I guess that's relative if you're if you're in your 40s, let's say. But he was only, I think, in his 50s. So it's always hard to hear that someone passed away in their 50s because, I don't know, to me it's like, well, they still could have gotten another 20 years, or if you're Donald Sutherland, another 40. Good God. Anywho, so originally cast by Donald Sutherland. I'm not going to go into the extreme catalog of Donald Sutherland because he's been in so many things.
The most recent thing that I think that a lot of people would be like, okay, I know who that is probably when he plays, Coriolanus Snow in the Hunger Games.
Sure.
That's probably what most people
Games,
would,
of course. President Snow in the Hunger Games.
That's probably who most people would be like, okay, I know who that is now.
You may have even seen him very recently in a little movie where it's like about this old man who's given a cell phone by a boy that comes to read to him. And then the old man dies and then somehow is still able to communicate to the cell phone. I think it's supposed to be like a Stephen King horror short. But he played the old man in that. So yeah, still acting to this day. And I think that just came out like last year.
He plays in a movie that I didn't even know there was a sequel to. Backdraft 2?
Mm-hmm.
There's a sequel?
Yeah, there's a sequel. It wasn't very good.
It's got like almost everybody in there.
Yeah, it still wasn't very good.
I'm gonna watch this.
So, Donald Sutherland, who do you got?
Who plays Donald Sutherland?
Sorry,
Sutherland,
Merrick. Who are you recasting as Merrick?
You're gonna hate this even more.
So I hate how you're starting this.
I think that I wanted someone that it would be goofy because Buffy is goofy. And if you cast this person in this role, people would be like, what the fuck? I'm going to go see this. Someone that you would never expect. Someone that has already played a vampire hunter in A Manner of Speaking.
Hugh Jackman again?
No, it's not
really. He play Van Helsing?
It's not in A Manner of Speaking. he plays a vampire hunter, a creature of the night, someone with a thirst. Someone that's trying to tell people
are you
that some motherfuckers are trying to skate uphill.
Are you trying to put Wesley Snipes in this fucking role? You know what? You're not far off from who I put, actually.
Think about it. He played a vampire hunter already. So if someone was going to see this, they're like, wait, what? He's going to be in Buffy?
I actually love the dynamic here because he was a vampire hunter and now you're casting him in a role where he's training a new generation of vampire hunter. I kind of love that. I kind of fucking love it. And I wish I had that level of creativity in my choice. That's a way better choice than mine. I love that. Because I kept it serious. Because I wanted somebody who gave me the same feeling as Donald Sutherland. But I felt like Donald Sutherland, even though I think he was only in his early to late 40s, early 50s when he did that role. But he felt so fucking old. He felt like he was playing a 60-year-old man. And I wanted somebody who was more of like a gruff, the reimagining we've done of Van Helsing, because it used to be that was our image of Van Helsing, an old man who knew his things about vampires. Whereas recently we've kind of reimagined Van Helsing as much more of a badass. So I went with Idris Elba.
He was my actual original choice.
No shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love it because he's a little bit older. He's got a little grizzle to him now, but at the same time, still in the realm of badassery, and I feel like he could just show that that same heartfeltness towards her, while also the dismissal of her bullshit, because that was a lot of what Donald Sutherland did, was constantly have to dismiss the bullshit of her trying to make excuses about not wanting to train.
I love that my original choice is what you chose, and I was like, Idris Elba would be great, but I also wanted someone that wasn't going to be so exciting to see, because I love Idris Elba. I love Wesley Snipes. I do, but
you're not wrong. I like, because not only do I love the idea of the Wesley Snipes, but in this generation, if you were to ask a random 25-year-old who is Idris Elba, they're going to be able to tell you, because he's been in enough. He's constantly on TV. Still a fairly well-known name. But if you ask them who Wesley Snipes is, they may not know. So that's probably a better way to go, because you don't want whoever is training Buffy to overshadow Buffy. You don't want to have a situation like we had with the live-action Aladdin,
Oh, yeah, where Genie just kind of overshadowed.
Yeah, where it's just like, movie. Yeah, they casted the biggest possible fucking name as Genie, because even in the cartoon, it's like, yeah, Robin Williams was a huge name, but it's a cartoon. That's okay. But when you do that when live action, it's like, okay, now and it just basically became the story of the Genie because we casted Will Smith. And you don't want to do that with Buffy. You don't want this person overshadowing Buffy. So I actually like that better. I think that makes more sense. So here we are, AJ. It's been a long journey. We're down to the final actor. Buffy, the Vampire Slayer.
Slayer?
You heard me. the teenage queen who was on her way to being prom queen, but instead had to save the world from the vampire invasion. Originally played by Kristy Swanson. This is pretty much all you're going to know her from. she definitely did other films. She actually had I think she was in like The Chase with oh god, what is his name? Tiger Blood.
Fucking what's his name? Fucking the Estevez one.
Yeah,
Charlie Sheen.
The Estevez one. Yeah, Charlie Sheen. But moving on from Kristy Swanson, just because her recent activities have been less than favorable. AJ, this is a pretty iconic role. It is the lead and could have the potential to reboot this entire thing and bring us even a new TV show if done properly. Who are you bringing to this role?
So I wanted someone that also was a blonde, or at least is mostly a blonde in almost all the movies that she's been in.
Same.
I wanted someone that I know that could be fun, goofy, and just someone that could bring some star cred to this. So like I said, I did choose someone that was a little bit older, but someone that is a bit eternally youthful, at least to me.
I swear to God, if you say Meryl Streep.
I fucking wish. That'd be great. No, someone that, I mean, in the past couple of years, I don't think I've ever seen her age in any of her roles.
Okay.
I mean, you could see from one movie to the sequel in that, then yeah, she did age. But she played in Kick-Ass. She played in What We Do in the Shadows. She has voiced Wednesday Addams and the Addams Family. I'm going to go with Chloe Moretz.
That was totally one of my choices. I was totally looking at Chloe Moretz. I loved Chloe Moretz, and I'm not going to lie to you. The only reason I didn't go with Chloe Moretz...
What We Do in the Shadows, but Dark Places.
Yeah, right, yeah. The only reason I didn't go with Chloe Moretz is because she's a little older. And that's exactly why. Is because I think she's 26, 27 now?
She's 26.
26. So I was trying really hard to bring somebody who was a little younger to the role. I wanted somebody like a Kristy Swanson. Maybe she's been in a few things that you know, but she's not like this, super established person. And I actually still went with somebody who's fairly well established. She's definitely done some stuff. People know her. So I went with Kiernan Shipka, and you're probably gonna know her as Sabrina the Teenage Witch in the reboot.
Oh, okay, yeah, I know her.
Yeah, so she's done a couple of other projects. She did one project which was a horror movie, and I'll be honest, I did not like her performance in it. But then I saw her in something else and realized whatever the problems were with her performance in that film that I was not a fan of was clearly the problem with the director. Because in this other film that I can't remember if it was a film or a TV series, she blew me away. She knows how to do the role. She can obviously be fun and goofy, also be pretty serious, but she also knows how a little bit of action. That's true. She knows how to step into a dark role. So I really loved the idea of casting this, young and upcoming actor into this role. And I think it plays really well. I think I almost considered Jenna Ortega to be honest again, just because
we can't just keep casting.
I know we can't cast Jenna Ortega and everything. That's the only reason why I didn't do it.
Well, I actually just looked this up too because I was very interested. I was like, I wonder how old Kristy Swanson really was when she did this role.
21.
She was not. She was 23.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
It's a couple. It's a couple years though, and I don't know. Like what you said, Kiernan Shipka is 23 right now.
There you go.
But it's only 3 years different.
Again, I don't think Chloe Moretz is a bad choice. I honestly consider her. I saw her as like, obviously blonde hair was kind of important. I don't know why. I think that plays well because literally it's in the name, Buffy.
Yeah.
There's a reason why her name is Buffy. It's because she is a valley girl, preppy, school spirit, prom queen, kind of looks down on everybody else because she's better than them character, which is funny too, because you kind of find out that it's not like she comes from money or anything. I think her family's actually, low to middle class.
Yeah, they're like middle. They're middle class.
Middle class. So it's not like she's, Claire, whatever her name was from Clueless or anything like that. But yeah, I like it. Chloe Moretz, I could see that.
So I realized that I fucked up what she was in twice. I said What We Do in the Shadows, and I said Dark Places. What I was really trying to do is say Dark Shadows. So I fucking just...
Wait, which one is Dark Shadows?
It's the remake. I think we've talked about this on another episode. Dark Shadows is the remake of a dark soap opera.
Yeah, God, I think we talked about it in one of the first 2 episodes. It's been a while since
who were we talking about in there?
You were talking about Johnny Depp for some reason, and we were talking about the original of that because what the fuck were we talking about? Let's not go down this road.
Yeah, because I don't know.
We are far too old to be trying to reminisce on what we talked about, 3 days ago.
Hey, everyone, I want you to do us a favor. Can you please go back and listen to our episodes and tell us if
we're not going to do the legwork.
Fuck we were talking about?
we don't have the budget of this podcast.
Somebody
to have some guy who
just
memorized all of our shit.
I remember. Pepperidge Farm remembers.
Well, I'll give Pepperidge Farm a call. Maybe they can fucking let us know what the hell's going on here. But you know what? I think we've done a fine job with our recasting. I know ordinarily we go all the way back through, but no, I'm leaving it up to you, Toasticles. Tell us in the comments or send us an email. Who do you think, between the ones that we've chosen or your own pick, who should be recast in these iconic Buffy the Vampire Slayer roles?
You can't change Wesley Snipes, though.
that's a fixed moment in time. Wesley Snipes is a fixed moment in time. He cannot be altered.
He's my canon event.
He's your canon event. So AJ, before we say farewell, where can our audience see Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the original 1992 film?
Well, you can see it on HBO Max. You can see it on Hulu. You can see it on Amazon. There are a couple things that you're going to need a premium subscription for, like YouTube TV, Google Play, and Vudu. You're going to have to pay for, but just go ahead and watch it on Max. If you got that AT&T, this is 100% not a plug for AT&T, but AT&T gives you free Max if you sign up.
Do you hear us, AT&T and Diet Coke? For fuck's sakes, we're giving you free advertising here. Pay us.
I use you, AT&T. I use you, Diet Coke. Fucking pay me.
Well, our music is created by Augusto Denise, logo by Design World, mixing and editing by IPTT Studios, and special thanks to Studio Dog Joe the Boxer.
And we want to hear from you in your own slice of toast. Tell us about the films you think we and others should see, actors to showcase, or topics to discuss. Here's a little special thing for you right now. It's spooky season, so give us some spooky stuff to talk about.
I do love to talk about spooky things.
Yeah, and you can reach us on Instagram at IPTT_podcast, emails directly at IPTTpodcast@gmail.com, or interact with us directly through the Spotify app.
And if you find yourself in a canon event where Wesley Snipes is the only savior that you can possibly look to, remember,
you can always get more toast.
Thanks for listening.
I'm the chosen one, and I choose to be shopping.